I went to a seminar about death.
Okay, you have to tell. Well, you're
Oh
just
my
telling
God.
me this now.
I know, yeah.
Please share. Please share. Why?
I have a friend.
Why were you there, and what did you learn?
I learned that no one really dies, and that, you know, it's just an experience in the physical form, and we're attached to our personalities, but that we're just souls, and that we continue and continue and continue.
Nip ain't know what type of monster he was. Lauren?
No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, you know, we was at Cassie's birthday.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Nip had no ego. So, you know what I'm saying? Like Nip came to me and said, I want you to mentor me. You know, I want to get into real estate. I want you to teach me all your, you know what I mean, like your business secrets. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whenever you got questions, pull up. And then on his last album, people do not know this. Somebody tried to jerk me, but I fixed it. I actually am one of the executive producers of Nipsey Hussle's last album.
Victory Lap.
Yeah, Victory Lap.
It was her and Lauren London. I just find it so funny how people are always omitting names and not really looking into the true facts.
Just when we thought there weren't any more celebrities gonna be exposed in this mess with Diddy, Lauren London just got busted for being his freak-off accomplice and even helping him to unalive Nipsey Hussle. Prior to Lauren messing with Nipsey, she was already rolling in bed with Diddy. And according to Nipsey himself, Lauren was the one who introduced him to Diddy and then forced him to get involved in Diddy's circle. Diddy was more or less like a godfather to Lauren, and word on the street is she knew about what he was doing to Cassie and allegedly even had a few freak-offs of her own with Diddy while she was in a relationship with Nipsey. It's unclear if Diddy ever whooped her like he did Cassie, but people found evidence that seemed to hint at her working as an inside woman for Diddy. Now, if y'all remember, Diddy bought a golden casket weeks before Kim Porter died and kept it in his house, almost as if he knew death was coming and he was preparing for it. Well, it turns out Lauren also did something very similar just weeks before Nipsey died, and she was actually shameless enough to admit it during a very disturbing interview she did after his death. Now, the reason why people started looking into Lauren is because at the start of Diddy's trial, jurors were given a list of celebrities who were closely tied to the case for them to examine, and those names included Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi, Cassie, Michelle Williams, Mike Myers, Dawn Richards, and of course, Lauren. So far, we know the reason behind Michael, Cassie, Jordan, and Dawn being mentioned, but the details about Lauren are still in the dark, and word on the street is that she was brought up because she had a hand in helping Diddy take out Nipsey. Mind you, Nipsey is her baby daddy, and she's out here being accused of allegedly rolling in the sand with his child. It's a cold world. In fact, there have been rumors circulating around that there are some freak-off tapes being shipped around Hollywood of Diddy and some famous people that we least expected to be doing those things with him, and people are now speculating that Lauren is allegedly on those tapes.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catching.
Correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Combs steals of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video was in nature.
I sat right here and told y'all there was activity on the dark net. Videos were being distributed and were going to be sold for profit because the diddler needs the money. Did I not say that? Right here.
Now, when Nipsey died, there were already speculations that he was set up, but people didn't see the link between his death and Diddy till recently, when we got to find out what Diddy was capable of. You see, when Nipsey was alive, he wasn't your regular kind of rapper. He was independent, owned all his own masters, and was leading the next generation of rappers into growing their own wealth through their music instead of signing to these big labels. This obviously had industry executives pissed, and that included Diddy. We've all heard about how Diddy used to trick these artists into signing ridiculous contracts that allowed him to pocket a huge chunk of their income. Someone like Nipsey was the exact opposite of what he wanted in the industry. And if he wasn't gonna get a percent of that money, then Nipsey would have to go before these younger artists started moving like him. And now this is where Lauren comes in, because according to an interview that Nipsey did at the Breakfast Club, he actually didn't know Diddy that well till Lauren introduced them. Lauren and Diddy had already been very close for decades at this point, so she knew exactly the kind of man Diddy was, but she still pushed Nipsey into Diddy's circle regardless. And people believe it's because she and Diddy were working together.
No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, we was at Cassie's birthday.
Nipsey was just 33 when he died, and according to reports, he was fired at 11 times across his head and torso. Eric R. Holder Jr. is currently serving a 60-year to life sentence for this, but people believe he was just a pawn used by Diddy to orchestrate this, and he decided to take the fall for it. And this actually checks out because Diddy is notorious for making other people do his dirty work and then naming them to take the fall for it. That's what he did to Shine. And Cassie recently also revealed in court that when he to blow up Kid Cudi's car, he told her that he wasn't going to be in town when it happened, so it can't be traced back to him, and that he was going to get someone else to do it. Now, for him to have pulled this off, he needed someone who was very close to Nipsey, but also loyal to him, to be the middle person between them, to feed her intimate details about what Nipsey was getting up to. And according to Jaguar Wright, Lauren was the link.
Hook up with the biggest rapper at the time. Everything's great. By the way, isn't she? Lauren is the one that introduced Nip to Diddy. Diddy couldn't even get to Nip, even though he had ties in L.A. It was Lauren that brought Nip to him.
Per what Jaguar was saying, people felt like she was insinuating that Lauren was selling Nipsey out to Diddy. Once he and Diddy started getting close, and the information she was allegedly giving him is what he used to take Nipsey out the game. There are even photos of Lauren and Nipsey with Diddy in which it genuinely looks like Nipsey is rather the side man. Things got even creepier when this interview of Lauren on Angie Martinez's podcast went viral. She said way before Nipsey died, she went to a death seminar to learn how to grieve. Mind you, at the same time she went to this death seminar, Nipsey was still alive, but it's like Lauren knew he wasn't going to be around for any longer, and she was preparing herself for it. People couldn't help but bring up just how similar this whole thing was to Diddy buying a coffin, even before Kim died. And when she did, she was buried in that same coffin that he had bought weeks prior.
Okay, you have to tell me. You're
Oh
just
my
telling
God.
me this now.
I know, yeah.
Please share. Please share. Why?
I have a friend.
Why were you there? And what did you learn?
I learned that no one really dies, and that, it's just an experience in the physical form, and we're attached to our personalities, but that we're just souls, and that we continue and continue and continue. And if you have a spiritual relationship with someone on earth, you will have one with them when you leave earth. So I did this 2-day seminar on death. So,
And this was how long ago?
I had to be 25.
What sent you there?
Do
you find that weird though?
I'm weird.
No, it's not weird that you would go. It's almost like you were preparing yourself for what you would have to deal with.
Well, I told you I didn't have connection to earth at a young age.
I know, but you don't find that as you were preparing yourself for what you were going to have to deal with.
But that we're all going to have to deal with.
Diddy was never involved in Nipsey's career, but after Lauren made him get close to Diddy, he was now all up in Nipsey's career, and he was even the one who executive produced Nipsey's last album, Victory Lap, which also means he got a huge cut of Nipsey's income from that album, especially after he died, since a lot of folks were bumping it even more after he died.
You know what I'm saying? Nip had no ego. So you know what I'm saying? Like Nip came to me and said, I want you to mentor me, you know, I want to get into real estate, I want you to teach me all your, you know what I mean, like your business secrets, you know what I'm saying? I was like, whenever you got questions, pull up. And then on his last album, people do not know this. Somebody tried to jerk me, but I fixed it. I actually am one of the executive producers of Nipsey Hussle's last album.
Victory Lap.
Yeah, Victory Lap.
Obviously, at the time Diddy said this, people still thought he was a good person, but now people believe his business deals with Nipsey were a trap, and he even sucked Nipsey's soul. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Dill, Nipsey came to Diddy to ask him to help him make Victory Lap, to have the same feel as Biggie's Life After Death album. Mind you, Life After Death was released after Biggie died, so there was a lot of spiritual stuff tied to that album, and the fact that Nipsey wanted to recreate the feeling of it meant that Diddy would have to dabble in some dark things to make that happen, and people believe the cost of it was Nipsey's life.
You taking a spiritual person who's asking for something. He said, I wanted that same feel as life after death. That same feel was that Biggie got, and he went on to sell about 10 million albums or 10 million copies. I was saying, you gotta watch what you say to demons, because it just might come true.
Now, it's still not proven if Lauren really had a hand in Nipsey's death, but people are connecting the dots, and they feel like she's definitely more involved than she's letting on, but we'll just have to wait for the trial to process in order to find out exactly what she was doing for Diddy and why she was brought up in court. As usual, people had their own thoughts, like this person who said, OMG, I knew it. I was wondering why the hell Nipsey would allow himself to be manipulated by Diddy. I didn't want to believe it, but I knew Lauren had something to do with it. There was no competition. Diddy being the jealous and insecure coward. This truly hurts my heart. God's justice will prevail. Another person said Lauren was set up to be with Nipsey by Diddy. Remember, she thanked Puff during the funeral. It's all about connecting the dots and seeing if people are willing to accept it. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Lauren London getting busted for her alleged involvement with Diddy? And do y'all really believe she had a hand in Nipsey's death? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.